Me first use the web. I say, I dey talk book.
Old Wharf resident Morike Fatoma lists attributes about himself he considers good characters. It is part of a segment in a forgiveness, gratitude, and appreciation session called Know Thyself.
I like honest, and Mr. say honest. Number 3, I say African. Number 4.
FGA is a psychosocial approach used to promote resilience and well-being among traumatized individuals. Fatoma is one of over 50 people participating in this session at the All for One Hall in Lower Joshua, a section of Old Wharf in Wellington, eastern part of Freetown. These men and women are all victims of the latest disaster to hit Sierra Leone on August 28, when days of heavy downpour resulted in flash floods across the capital city. Several houses were destroyed, lives lost, and hundreds of people displaced after water overwhelmed their dwellings, as seen in these amateur footages shared on social media. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies recorded a total of 8 deaths, with 4 missing persons as at the time of its report, due to floods and minor landslides. 79 people were injured, and more than 12,900 people affected in all, according to the IFRC. Lower Joshua was one of the lucky areas where no life was reported lost, but residents here, like Morike, lost properties worth millions of leons. The unemployed father of 5, who is in charge of a total of 10 people in his family, spent days in temporary shelter after their home was rendered uninhabitable. This event, organized by Social Workers Sierra Leone, is part of an ongoing healing process for the community. SWSL is a group of volunteer social workers who provide psychosocial support for individuals and communities dealing with traumatic experiences.
We all can recall that the 28th August, there was a flash flood that occurred and affected several communities in Freetown, and Old Wharf community is one of these communities. And as a social work organization, we partners with the Ministry of Social Welfare to provide PFA and as well as assessments, initial assessments. So from the data we collected based on the assessments and other interventions we'll be doing, we see that there is a need for a particular intervention to also address the psychological impact of the flash flood.
The over 4-hour-long session featured several presentations that go along with teaching and exercises, all designed to help the participants deal with stressful situations within their own sociocultural, economic, and religious realities, with the ultimate goal of attaining peace of mind. The participants were introduced for the first time to various skills to help them achieve this goal. SWSL founder and national coordinator Hassan Kuruma led the opening session with a segment called Temperature and Wellbeing. This activity assesses the emotional mood of the participants.
We all get the well-being temperature also. So, first of all, anybody understand when I say well-being and temperature?
After about 20 minutes of presentation, the audience decide their mood by ticking the appropriate box on a paper. For those who can't read and write, SWSL volunteers, some of them interns, help them identify their choice. This segment is repeated after every major activity during the course of the whole session. SWSL was supported to conduct these events by the Lemon Aid Fund, a US-based non-profit which pioneered the FGA approach. Dr. Nancy Peddle, founder of Lemonade and pioneer of the concept, believes it is key to attaining resilience, happiness, and psychosocial well-being. She has been collaborating with SWSL since its founding in 2012, and together they have responded to major humanitarian crises in the country, including the 2014-2016 Ebola epidemic and the COVID-19 pandemic. In his office at the SWSL headquarters, Kuruma explains the concept further.
We actually embarking on engaging people on FGA, which is forgiveness, gratitude, and appreciation, a concept designed by Lemonade Fund. And this is actually way back after the Civil War in Sierra Leone, and the co-founder, who is Dr. Nancy Pedul, who actually designed this tool in addressing people stress and trauma at different situations, and so how it can be able to influence people to be in their state of peace and also having a healthy lifestyle. That is all what the forgiveness, gratitude, and appreciation.
Old Wharf is one of the most economically disadvantaged communities in Freetown. A lot of its inhabitants rely on petty trading as source of income. The vast majority is unemployed. The community, situated on a low-lying terrain, also epitomizes a common environmental issue for Sierra Leone: construction of dwelling homes in uninhabitable lands that are susceptible to disasters like floods and landslides. A complete FGA session comprises at least 12 activities, and it should ideally last for 2 days. But due to resource constraints, SWSL constricted this event into a day's program, which meant just about half a dozen of the activities were done. The combined effect of all the activities in an FGA session are that they encourage participants to identify issues causing them stress, discuss them, and learn how to let go of long-harbored grievances. Rachel Kister, caseworker at SWSL, is one of 5 volunteers who presented the activities. Her first segment, Grievance Story, is designed to bring out deep-rooted issues in the audience. In this case, even beyond the problems the flood afflicted in them. They range from differences in marital homes to pressures of unemployment and betrayals.
Wait till you stand up. Honest. Say you are an honest person. So knowing who you are, that to be very important in our life. Very, very important. So I this activity, know thyself. Also, when it comes to building, it's fine for everybody for you to identify. So anybody don't ever tell you the quality they are. So anybody possible ever tell you say this kind of possible.
A male participant recounts deciding against having a child because he doesn't think it's fair to do so in the life of poverty he lives. While he is convinced that it's the right decision, it still bothers him. Another man was struck by a chain of tragedies leading to the August 28th incident. First, he lost his wife to a motorbike accident. 3 months later, his father died, and then the flooding occurred, leaving him homeless. The women too have their own stories. One is struggling to take care of 2 kids her husband abandoned her with. Another one is under pressure to leave her home by a husband who decided to take a new and younger wife. The older wife wants to move, but she still loves him, despite the physical and psychosocial abuse she undergoes. For SWSL, all of these experiences constitute justification for a psychosocial counseling session like this.
But this is a very emotional moment because this is where we encourage people to write their stories, and not just stories that has been something that hurt them, something that hurt them before. They write this story down, just a way of letting go, because research has proven that when people write down how they are feeling, it's kind of help them release the stress.
Yeah, our goal is to ensure that at the end of the day, we are able to build their resilience as a means to withstand the aftermath of the flash flood. Because with low self-esteem and considering what they have gone through, just imagine someone loses all his properties he has labored for a very long period of time. I think that in itself will affect him or her psychologically. But with this, we just want to build their resilience to realize that what happens on August 28th is not the end of their life. So,
among the participants is Ali T. Mansari, chairman of Lower Joshua. He heaped praises on SWSL for reaching out to his community, but Mansari would like to see a permanent solution to their recurrent problem.
governments for let them see to we for this atrocity where they happen to disaster, what they happen that we young grown as a community. So they ask Papa government for let them make a help for we. You understand? So not to say this supplier now in our interest. This supplier not only in our interest. When something happen to we get people them NGOs they come, or can help we, or can donor we, or something like rest or any other thing stuff. Not only in our intention. We need Papa governments for let them help we with the NGOs, for let them help we for make for with this drainage. That let them put up for a permanent solution.
The workshop, it even make a glad because one, I have to ease my stress a little while. I have to ease them down. Then two, I learn a lesson for each other, especially when we are around an area. We need to love one another. The Westman they say 2 heads are better than one. Because whenever you is society, not think for yourself alone, think for your company. In your opinion, how you feel. So that you're not going to cope up.